Fellow Guyanese, good evening to each and every one of you. Today I want to address a few things that is on my mind. For those who are calling me a racist, who try to distort my information to make it look like if I am such a corrupt person or really I do not know where I came from. Let me set the record straight once and for all. I grew up in a village called Pakistan on the East Bank. I have relatives who are Afro-Guyanese, blood group, not by marriage, blood. I have East Indian descendant and others. And my DNA rightfully put out 18 or 19% Nigerian blood, plus East Indian blood, and others. I want to make this clear. I'm not a racist. I hate to see what is happening in our country today. And I ask myself if there will be any changes into it. First, I have to congratulate the Ali presidency because under his leadership, England have pulled a very great move by allowing Guyanese to go to England without a visa. Sometimes I ask, it would have been better and easier for England to take back the country since knowing Guyana was not given independence to the right people. It was given dependent. There's a difference from dependent and independence. Thanks to Adolf Hitler that declared war on Europe. He might be judged as a war criminal, but at the same time he had brought about freedom for many countries along the horizon that was once ruled by European conquerors. France give up most of our country in Africa. I don't know if they have link to anymore. England done the same. As you see, South Africa happens to be the last. And many others. But what amazed me, England, France, and other colonial masters give up these countries because they were broke after World War II. But our black brothers around the world, the learned few, who's on the historical event of the historical affair, claim the word as, instead of saying European, they said the white man. He exploit us, he slave us, he take our resources, and what he do to it. For the amount of resources you have lost in Africa, I think your country already go broke. But as long thing that I can remember, thanks to my traveling experience, live amongst a lot of your nation who don't know my ways about on job at times. I wonder why all Africans today, younger generation who's very educated, can't find jobs in Africa, are trading everything they got to get to the white man country, which is the European. I'm only using it according to what y'all are saying. After independence, you have everything. I don't think they take all your oil, your gold, your lumber, and your timber. And even though you are independent, you only change the flag because you keep everything in the law books, the language, and most of you use it against your own people. Politicians in Africa exploited their people 100 times more than any European race had ever done as a conqueror. You call them an exploiter, but they take your resources, send you to school. Many of you are pilots, doctors, scientists, great musicians, saxophone players, soccer player, making millions. You're driving car, and many other things. Same goes to India. Today, in Ghana, for example, where Guyanese blacks came from. I was in Ashama. And I like the people there because I was told it is one of the worst places in Ghana. But ladies and gentlemen, I was welcome as a human being. Was invited to many homes. But in Guyana, you have to scared of your own family home because for some reason or the other, racism in Guyana is like wildfire. During the British time, in Ghana, everything was running good. You had free school, medical, so many things. But today, you have to pay a price. Does it profit you? Today, your children, Africa, are going to Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Libya, and being raped and beaten, and worse than slaves, and in cases flogged and being murdered, and nobody saying nothing in the African continent. But our African leaders are taking the money to Europe. Take Mugabe for an example, 3 policies, if I remember right, it's alleged. Each one value billions of pounds, millions of pounds, sorry. He dead and gone. Where does it profit a man when he stole everything, but you have to leave it behind? Like the Calypsonians say, while you are in the graveyard, another man spending your money. Think of it. Where are you taking a golden car? You golden sandals? It is only for a short time. I have seen in Guyana so many wrong things under Burnham government, what he has done, and allow his supporters to exploit and use racism against the other races. Now, I'm not saying that all you black people or African descendants are bad. Like I always say, 70,000 to 80,000 Guyanese blacks, God can open heaven and don't have to worry. Genuine, honorable, great people, great teachers, great midwife, nurses. But under Burnham, it was a racial tension, and it spread like wildfire. And I always say, what happened in Mackenzie, Wisdom, and elsewhere in the 60s before independence was not created by Guyanese blacks. But yes, they feel the squeeze because those who did it was also black people, but not from Guyana. You see, foreign agents brought the people into Guyana to do the nasty work. In Mackenzie, India was beaten, building was burned and taken away from them in the market and other places. Their houses unto this day, they didn't get it back. Many was raped. Many children was beaten and raped, and bottle was pushed into little girls' private parts. Those who have done it, I believe in Haituni and Madia. And along the East Coast and the West Coast, Denham, Stel, Stouffville, Buxton, Pleasance, and many more. And for the illiterate Indians who was retaliating against innocent black people, it was wrong in Guyana after they heard about the Mackenzie uprising. And I want you all to know, some Indian in Queens take my message and turn it around on a computer with an app to say George Correa call people niggers and talk about the East Indian race. Well, let it be known to all of you, I was fighting to remove Burnham out of power. But Desmond Hyde was a genuine leader, but they say he was from Grenada. All the rest that followed him was not good. David Granger, he called alleged terrorist a hero. That was his downfall. Make Jimmy Carter came into Guyana. Leave the afternoon, when he arrived in the morning, get diarrhea. Think of it. That was the replacement of the PPP government. Members of the PNC claim that the Indian government is an installed government. Well, we don't have Indian government and African government. We have a government by Guyanese blood. So if you are Indian and you are African, then you are in the wrong part of the continents of the world. Go back home, for God's sake. You who claim that you are emancipated, you are not going back to Africa. And you who claim day of arrival are not going back to India. So I want to know, what is freedom make you not going home? And what is day of arrival and your visa didn't run out? I saw Rude Boy in Canada issue a statement with a picture of the late Foss Burnham. And he said, a few things make sense, that the Indian government is paid off all the opposition to shut them out. Somewhere or the other, he might be right. Because if you got a dog barking steady because something wrong, and suddenly stop back, you got to look and see what he's eating and drinking and who feeding him. Is these dogs wigging the tail and licking the tongue of the master that give them a sandwich? I know Indians love corruption because I see it amongst friends and family. And Indians love to fight their own mother, brother, father, sister, and go to the Obia man and the Kalimite church to destroy one another. When will you all wake up, friends? When we all understand that the future lies in the next generation. I call upon the government. Mr. Ali government, he's trying. I hear the word Abbey Isle. I look at the news. Rude boy of Canada claim if Barnum was alive today, Guyana would be a paradise. No, rude boy. I will differ on that one. In the late 70s, close to the 80s, Barnum was considered the second richest black man in the world. Think of it. And if Obasha from Nigeria stole over $10 billion, as it's alleged, Mugabe stole a few billion, and they're saying what he owned in England, France, and other places, then if Barnum is the second, and Abacha of Nigeria was the first, and Barnum had billions. And then Barnum said he nationalizing everything. Those was jargon quotation. Ask Nagamutu before the Lord give him a stroke and take him out. I said here unto you today, if Barnum was in Guyana today with the oil, he would have been richer than Queen Elizabeth if they count her worth. Right? Fellow citizens, stop following this nonsense. If you get $1 and keep 99 cents, I don't want you to get $1 billion because you would only leave the nation with a couple thousand. So it is proven he was not going to do what Rude Boy say, but that's his opinion, and I have to respect it. I saw critics talking about the bridge, the Harbor Bridge, about the drunken guy, and he's complaining about the Spanish people that working. And critics is right. You can't want to drink rum and have fun while the another nation is working around the clock to make your country better. Who are you? You cannot live like that. And for you, the young black people in Guyana, young black boys and girls, dress properly, follow the teaching of your God, and live. You all are a great people, as much as the good Indians. But for the low class, which we got plenty. One man live in America, they used to cost America and cost the Portuguese. They're lucky they can't make that collation. They wouldn't have been alive today. Thanks to Dr. Jagan, the late and Barnum, the guy had to turn his corporation into shareholders for all the raised to owners $1 a share to save it. Because they were breaking up the trucking and more. Canal, and Lenora, High Flat, many Indian neighborhoods. My fellow Guyanese, you were misled by the late Chetty Jagan and Barnum. Barnum is Barabbas and Chetty is Judas Iscariot. And people say Peter give the 7th seat. We can call him Peter, who said he didn't know Barnum would have done so. So when Peter was asked in the Bible, you were with Jesus, he said, never see the man. So we can fulfill Guyana as Jerusalem. So we have a biblical story, and Rodney died in a car like John the Baptist said in a plate. Wake up to reality, man. Your politicians are only for themselves. Check their family, check their money. And I call upon the international community, America, Canada, to do the same like England. Visa free once you have a clean police record. There is some family on the East Coast, racial, corrupt, and devastated. I will submit their name again to all embassy. They must not give in an excuse to leave Guyana, not even for the Caribbean, because they must be tried for crime that they was committed against innocent people. Some magistrates and judges have done the same. Lawyers make big business. I am bitter we never win a case in Guyana. We have transport, We have surveying paper and surveying pole. You East Indian, you pay to pull out the pole and throw it away and even bribe the surveyor to lie for you. I want the law that when a surveyor do that, he must be executed. And if you accuse a man for his property and it proves that you're wrong, you pay all damages and you have to pay the man what he asked for, or you will have to take your property. I am calling on Mr. Ali government to make that law. If you lie on someone, you must be sentenced to prison or be executed. It must stop. If you kill a man and he's 40 years of age, for every year one of your offspring must be executed because you're annihilating a family completely out of civilization. You are not God. You have no right to do that. And I am talking this because I'm bitter towards the two races who are not living together. The decent East Indian and the decent blacks are holding hands together for a better Guyana and a one Guyana. You cannot put a thief to guard your bank, nor a cat to look at milk, or rat to look at cheese. Ladies and gentlemen, these Creole talk means a lot. But I challenge my opponent, a young man from Queens, Liberty, or wherever. We have his address, his name, Mr. Kasim, Raymond Kasim, and the young woman from the beach of Florida. We already know where you're living and who you are. I asked God before the intervention of the department that work with us. I asked on God to destroy your family, all of your family, and let y'all walk the road mad for accusing me. Y'all call me a racist. I have family in every race. We eat and drink together. I mix with people in Africa, help to take care of children in Africa. Mothers without no fathers who die in war or who die in accident, all in Guyana, black and Indian alike. You say I throw a cup of tea in my mother's face. Yes, I did. Was I proud about it? No. My mother happens to be an East Indian woman, mixed. She insulted another woman who's mixed with black and Amerindian. I warn her over and over, stop your accusation. She will not stop. The day I throw the cup of hat in her face, it stopped from that day for 5 days. She never uttered that word again. So because it's your mother, you're going to hide her fault, but you're looking for justice. I will hang you and your mother that gave birth to you. I call upon the decent Guyanese to come forward and unite, Indian and black. Not the Portuguese and Chinese, not the Amerindian. I noticed some of you condemning an Amerindian guy, talking about Buckman and indigenous people can't go to England. The man right to what he said to all of you. They have London in Guyana. He pay no 2,005 US to go to ice country. Wake up, he's right, it's his country. I call upon all priests, imam and everybody, give up the Holy Quran, the Ramayana, and the Bible, because in those books it says, thou shalt not covet thy brother's property, and do unto others as you like them do unto you. Wake up for God's sake and save the next generation, and let's put Guyana forward and give the law a chance. All of that I'm asking you. We need the judge and the court to be independent, not controlled by businessmen and corrupt politicians. And for the good judges and magistrates and police, they must be honored and giving opportunity like all ministers. Change the constitution, no man is above the law. What goes for harm must go for harm. All right? That's my message. And may God be with all of you.